Welcome to episode 50 of Liquid Velvet Literature 50. And our first one today is by Plexiglassfruit. It's called Musk of Life. The winding spiral of nicotine tasted remarkable until the next morning when I swore it off forever. The smell of beer on his lips was intoxicating, though I have never really enjoyed any strong drink. The warmth of the burn felt like all time was standing still. Only hours later, I would hate the textiles it touched for their coldness. I swam in ponds of water so soft and fertile, I felt refreshed by them, only later to not be able to scrub hard enough to remove it from my skin. I loved, and yet I hate that I did. In my youth, I preferred walking the dirt roads barefoot. I would break up with this desire the second I slipped into new socks. The relationship continues this way. Never a child, forever childlike. I spin in circles of cruel and ethereal, unsustainable joy, a power source with no energy. I drink from the stone cup of my fathers, honey that drinks like silk and poisons me. Deep breaths find me in all emotional voids and fill me, and also at summits of the best moments in life to remind me I am. And nothing is more powerful than turbulent contradictions, grounded to contrition, anchored in blood. Drowning in air when water sets me free, I will die, for I am at any opportunity. This is really beautiful, and I think that no matter what these words say specifically, the feeling of it, I think all good writers, the feeling that's captured in this is just, it's malleable, like across the entire spectrum of life. This is beautiful. Plexiglassfruit, thank you for this. Okay, and this one is going to be grandfather in German, I believe, and that is large in philosophy. It's a challenge by the Wolf Den. Our guest narrator from episode 49, our last, great job, by the way. Okay, and this is God, the Universe, and You, Part 6, The Sin Eater. The practice of sin eating dates back to medieval Europe. Though obscure, it is rumored to still be in practice in rural areas of Europe as well as parts of the Appalachian regions in the U.S. If a person dies before they are able to confess their sins, food items such as bread and ale were placed onto the deceased. The sin eater was hired to consume the food, therefore consuming the sins of the deceased and giving their souls access to heaven. Despite their spiritual importance, sin eaters were usually impoverished people, seen as outcasts, and paid mere pennies for their service. Write your take on this concept, any format, poetry or prose, fiction or otherwise. That is interesting. Admittedly, I've never heard of any of that, and I'm surprised because I really, that's something I'd be very interested in knowing about. While I'm not religious myself, I'm fascinated by religion, and this is especially like left field shit like this is. Okay, so this is large with grandfather. I wish I could say that in German. I should have Googled it and listened to it. Probably Großvater, I don't know. Okay, I was 4. Opie said it was awake. He said, Marushka, we will go and look, with respect for the dead. Dead I knew to be the not moving. The dead man was very important. So many people came to see him, with respect, lying there. A politician, Opie said. I thought that must be something like a policeman, an officer behind the scenes at some desk, off duty, no uniform. I saw him armed with with telephone. Important. He had a pin on his chest, a little flag over his silent heart. People gathered. They looked, pointed, one or two at a time. We filed through. The room was small, or it was really the edge of a hall, a corner roped off. Did he hang himself? Asked a boy older, more worldly than I. Hush, whatever gave you such an idea? Scolded his mother. But mother, shh. And they stepped out of line, an attendant guiding them to the right exit. After much standing around and twisting our brims in our hands, it was our turn to walk along the rope. The box behind it was lifted high, so high a grown man would lean in and kiss the dead man's cheek. For a moment it was just Opie, the dead man, and me. Opie raised me. The man's face was wet. Tears? I asked. Spit, Opie whispered. Now I noticed the man behind, seated, half covered from viewing by the casket and fancy skirting, eating. He was eating, and he was crying while eating. He tore into days-old bread with his dirty hands, wiped sobs, the snot mixing with crumb, breaking the bread with himself. The back of his hand wiping and caking his stubble more and more with each bite, with each wipe. I could not turn away. Opie, I said, what is that beggar doing? That is the sin-eater, said Grandfather in the smallest voice, as a hand noisily tossed several cents into a metal bowl at the beggar man's feet and pushed another old loaf upon him. I could no longer tell if he was hungry. It was now the dead man, the beggar, Opie, and me. I knew sin was coming, and here was the man eating up a whole church week of communion. He is eating the dead man's sins, Opie said as we turned away. It was then I tasted shame. That's really good, Large. That's really good. What a cool experience that was for me. As you guys know, I read these pretty much cold. In fact, completely cold. I pull them up and I might like just zip through them and scan them for length, but this was nice. This is nicely done. And Large says, the wolf den, thanks. Bunny says, beautiful, profound, and deep as they come. Thank you. Absolutely. And Large says, most kind, thank you. Dr. Semicolon says, great story. I guess the next course will be crow. Nice. Large, gup, I reckon so. Thanks. And Cindy Calder says, great story. And appreciate your reach and encouragement. So yeah, really some, high honors here from these prose pillars. That's cool. This is a cool challenge too, the Wolf Den. Like I think I said that already, but I don't know. Say it again. And let's see. This is going to be Flash Gordon and philosophy, and it's from a challenge that, let's see who did this challenge. The Wolf Den again. Well, cool. God, the Universe, and You, Part 7, Existential Dread. Write about a moment or moments that completely rocked your world, be it a painful rock bottom, a milestone birthday, a big revelation, or other earth-shattering process that led you to question everything, or at least one thing that you thought you knew. And Flash Gordon says, that sad day I realized I was no more sexually attractive. I smiling cocky, confident, the girl breaking out giggling, seeing myself in the mirror, pudgy, wrinkled, bald, numb. I had never seen myself that way in her lusty brown eyes. I think I may never enjoy sex again and have become an ogre. That time must come to all someday. We all think it is so very far away. Selling sex, buying, trading glances, looking to be laid, hoping wistful, it vanishes, and with it hope. So now I face a non-sexual future. When it was the center of my galaxy, there's always porn. Porn doesn't care. Giggle, chortle as our slow rise as our slow-to-rise fever, sadly shaken, not stirred, dying with the wee whimper. Something died when I knew my days of romance and roses has withered like my liver-spotted hands. People shrink from a time comes when you've been fucked for the very last time. I should have kissed, treasured, loved you tender, held on tight, but brushed you off. Had no, only no, it was my last time. Welcome aboard, Flash. No, I'm just joking. Listen, the opportunity always presents itself. Up to your standard or not, just so you know. I mean, but I understand this. This is a cool piece, and I think anybody, getting on. But then again, I don't know how old you are, Flash, but probably when you're 70, you look back on this, or 80, and go, the fuck was I worried about? Which I can go back to then now. But this is a really cool, and it's probably just entirely, whatever. I need more coffee. That was good, though. Okay. And this is 7v7, and it's inspired by Dada and Art, Chaos and Creation. Okay, so it's a Dada-inspired poem, and it says, Flat. One economy, legal size scotch, thank you very much, Georgia Pacific, and one way up. Reaction to my contents will be anything but. Found poetry. Okay, so this challenge is obviously about finding some of your lost poetry. That's cool. Author note, the shelf to my right, a collection of blank paper and filled and empty binders and envelopes. The words are brand names or half-visible slogans. There's also part of a railway block set with signage one way, positioned sideways, hence up. It's interesting how the paper pub track theme builds on itself amid the randomness. Yeah, it is. I'm sure any of you out there know what it's like to stumble upon, whether it's a lost floppy or an old file or an old notebook or a chest of notebooks, and you read your old stuff, and sometimes it's not fucking bad, is it? That's really cool. I like that challenge. Who did that challenge? I keep it in my mic cable. Last. Oh, okay. Very cool. Yeah, that's great. Oh, wait. So let me go back to here. Yeah, because this is, wait, is that over? No, it's that one. Okay, yeah, this is going to close us out. This is BRKBIA, hello, Burke Billist 42, and the same challenge. The language of leaves. The words fell into place like leaves to the ground, hard to start, easy flow, patchy groundwork, more layers to go, kicked aside, raked up with dew, fun to jump in, though they can't hurt you. Numerous as they are, you can't find what you look for. Always more leaves, always another fall, though time is limiting, and death comes to all when the leaves are gone and the tree remains. New leaves will grow and fall again. That's really nice. Burke Billist 42, huh? Okay, well, that is going to wrap today, and thank you guys for being here and hanging out with us and listening to these beautiful minds just grab and capture and throw down there. Yeah, beautiful writing today. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys again for just being here. This is episode 50 of Prose Radio. It's actually probably our 100 and something video, 150, I don't know how far up we are, but since Prose Radio was formed, this is episode 50, and it's an honor to be here for episode 50 and to read these talents, these artists. So I'm going to get out of here. If you like to read or write, go to theprose.com, read or write. It gets better and better. And it's going to keep going that way. So I'm going to get out of here. And as always, take good care.